What makes a book more than just a bestseller? How does it become a total cultural phenomenon? Well, today we're going to dive into exactly that with the story behind Buckeye. This is a novel that didn't just top the charts, it really deeply moved readers all over the country. Okay, so you've probably seen this gorgeous cover everywhere, right? In bookstores, all over your social media feeds. This is Buckeye by Patrick Ryan, and its journey, wow, it's about so much more than just being popular. It's really the story of how a book about a small town in Ohio became this huge literary sensation. And yeah, its success is just undeniable. Right out of the gate, Buckeye shot up the charts to become a certified New York Times bestseller. And that tells you something, right? It means it really struck a chord with a ton of readers and made a genuine cultural impact. And it's not just readers, the praise from literary giants, just as powerful. I mean, when an author like Ann Patchett, the Ann Patchett, calls your book a glorious sweep of a novel, you know you're dealing with something truly special. That's code for a story with massive scope and some serious emotional depth. Then, its reach just exploded. Why? Because it was chosen for the Read with Jenna book club, and you know what that means. That selection alone is a game changer. It launched Buckeye into the hands of millions of readers, almost overnight. All right, so what is this story that has everyone completely captivated? Well, it all kicks off in the seemingly quiet little town called Bonhomie, Ohio. The whole setup it's simple, but man, is it powerful. At its heart, you've got one town, two families, and one single secret that is going to change everything. Not just for them, but for generations to come. And this right here, this is where the story really becomes this incredible American epic. We're zeroing in on two very different families, and each one is carrying the weight of their own hopes, their own dreams, and of course their own hidden burdens. So let's meet them, shall we? First up, we've got the Jenkins family. There's Cal, a guy who's really wounded by the fact that he couldn't serve in the war, and his wife Becky has this unique spiritual gift. She's a seer. Then on the other side, you've got the Salts. Margaret is trying so hard to keep her past buried, while her husband Felix is away serving on a Navy cargo ship. So you've got four people all on their own really complicated paths. So the big question is, how do these two families get so deeply tangled up with each other? Well, it all comes down to one single moment. A moment that was born from all the chaos and the pure relief of a massive global celebration. This is where it all begins. Picture it. The whole world is celebrating the Allied victory in Europe. There's just this incredible feeling of joy and relief everywhere. And right in the middle of all that, there's a single secret encounter between Cal Jenkins and Margaret Salt. Just one stolen moment of passion. And that's the spark that lights the fuse for everything that comes next. And this really brings us to the core question of the whole novel, Can one single moment, just one decision, really echo for an entire lifetime? That question, that's what sets the stage for decades and decades of consequences. But here's the thing. This story doesn't just stay in the 1940s. Not at all. Its real power, what makes it so amazing, is its generational scope. It traces the super intricate and, often painful consequences of that one secret as it just ripples through the lives of these two families, year after year. Just look at this timeline. It shows you how absolutely epic this thing is. We start at the end of World War II, right? Then we move through the whole post-war boom, and we follow it all the way into the late 20th century. And all the while, as America is changing in these huge ways, this one little personal secret is just simmering right under the surface in Bonhomie, Ohio, and it's shaping the destiny of every single person involved. And you better believe the critics felt the power of this saga. They were calling it mesmerizing, captivating. Buckeye got named a Best Book of the Year by huge outlets. We're talking The Washington Post, NPR, the New York Times Book Review, the list goes on. Jenna Bush Hager's praise really gets to the heart of why people love this book so much. She didn't just pick it for her club. She called it a once-in-a-decade novel, and she said, "I fell in love with these characters." And that's it right there. That's the key. It's that deep emotional connection that you as a reader form with these families that makes the whole story just completely unforgettable. So here's the bottom line. A secret this big, especially in a small town like Bonhomie, it can't stay buried forever. It's just destined to come out. And all that tension is just building and building while you wait for it to happen. And even though the whole story is set in this one small Ohio town, the themes are just so universal. Buckeye really captures something fundamental about being human, doesn't it? That powerful, shared longing we all have for love, for connection, and, for just a little bit of goodness in our lives. Look, we've barely even scratched the surface of this incredibly rich, intimate, and totally sweeping novel. It really makes you think about how one single moment can define entire legacies, and how families sometimes have to re-examine everything they thought was true about themselves. So if you're ready to find out how the secret of Bonhomie finally unfolds, well, you know what to do. The link to this book is in the video description.